Greetings and hello, you are tuned in to Silvermyth In The Dark episode number 42. This episode brings a visit from Seattle, USA based Draemora, who will talk a few and a little bit more about the band. This is Silvermyth In The Dark podcast. You can like the podcast at facebook.com/metal.hero666. You can tweet with the podcast at twitter.com/radiogodmode, and you can subscribe with your podcast player at rgm-hallofheroes.com. Question number 1 for Draemora, progressive metal from Seattle. Tell the listeners about the band, what inspired you to start, who are the members, and how did the band come to life?
So sometime in the summer of 2019, I parted ways with my old band, Odyssean. In that band, I played drums, and it was a death metal band. Very intensive, like progressive death metal. Lots of time signature changes, lots of crazy melodies with crazy time signatures in them. Really, really fun. Sometimes really, really difficult. I really loved being in that band, but we had some differences, and by the time we had, parted ways, we had a really good following going on. So it was, in hindsight, very irritating at the time. We were starting to play with really big bands, and we were selling out our merch booth every night, and it was just starting to get really cool. And that's when things, had to end for whatever reason. Who knows why that kind of stuff, starts to happen. The actual reason for it all ending, I guess, is not important. But that stopped in summer of 2019. And then I was just going to be a death metal drummer in another death metal band. And I had all these people tugging at me, asking me to be in their bands. And there was touring bands that wanted me to go on tour with them. And I was, was very flattered. And actually a couple of bands around here I was really interested in joining because I really liked them a lot. And really, I had never been a vocalist or a guitar player in a band ever. So that was totally not something I was thinking about. But a couple of months had gone by, and I hadn't played any shows, and I wasn't talking to the guys in Odyssean very much anymore. And I mean, those were like people that I spent most of my time with. And, well, I started writing some songs. I picked up my guitar that I hadn't picked up in like 2 years or something. I mean, I probably picked it up a dozen times, in the course of 2 or 3 years. And I just started writing some riffs and recording them. And I went downstairs and put some microphones on a drum set and recorded some drums over that. And then I started coming up with these full pieces of music, and I had like 3 or 4 pieces of music. And so I was like, whatever, I'll just write some lyrics to these. So I did. I couldn't scream very well, but I was able to kind of get that going, figure out how the rhythms were going to go, and kind of do my best to do the screaming vocals. And then I placed my singing over some of the parts, and I never had really ever sang before, so it was all new for me. And so I had these songs, and I now thought, wow, these songs sound really good, and I should probably try to find some people to play with me. So I just reached out to a bunch of people I already knew. I've been playing shows with here in Seattle for a long time, and I knew one specific band, Jesus Wears Armani, that were having some serious downtime. They had a member that I think he had a baby or something happened, and they were not playing anymore. So I called up Rich, who was the lead singer, vocalist for that band, Jesus Wears Armani, and I said, "Hey man, what are you guys doing?" And he said, "Nothing. We'd actually like to get something going again." And I was like, "Well, I got these riffs, man. I got these songs. We should do something." So I went over to his house, and the drummer and bass player for Jesus Wears Armani were also over there, and they also wanted to play the songs because I'd showed them to them. And they all thought, well, these songs are cool. We'll start Jesus Wears Armani back up with Terry's riffs. That's really how it was going to go. And I was actually kind of okay with that because I don't know, I just didn't know what was going on. It was just kind of like all up in the air. I'd never sang or played guitar in a band like that before. And so I just started jamming with these guys. And I started to figure out, some of these guys don't really fit. A couple of the dudes I didn't think really fit. They weren't, they weren't really good matches for the music. And although I loved them, I thought, well, because I started to get a glimpse of what it was actually going to sound like. Jared is an amazing drummer, and he was nailing the parts. And I was like, oh my God, this thing could come to life if I could find a couple more of the right musicians. So, me and Jared, I eventually told the other two members, the bass player and the singer, that, this just wasn't working, for them, and that, is it okay if Jared comes with me? And so they were like, yeah, that's fine. No big deal. It's not like we were doing anything anyways. And me and Jared started really getting serious about getting his parts down and getting, everything that he was going to do down perfectly. At that point, we started to think like we need a vocalist. And I reached out to a bunch of people, but the first person I really thought of was Taylor. And he was the old vocalist for Odyssean. I'd already played like hundreds of shows with him. We'd gone all over the place. I knew we already got along. He's an amazing vocalist. He's an amazing frontman, and I just really like him. He's an awesome guy. So I was like, hey, man, I'm doing this, and what do you think about it? And I showed him that I had all these lyrics already written, and I think the comment was something like, oh, shit, you already have the lyrics written? Well, I'll come over and try them out, tomorrow. I don't even remember how fast it was, but it was pretty fast. He came over, he nailed just a whole demo in like 2 hours. Then, we both listened to it for a couple days and we knew that it was just fucking awesome. So we did that 4 more times, He would come over, I'd have all the lyrics written, and he would just, I'd pretty much have the rhythms ready for him, and he would just put his flavor all over it, man, and he just did such a great job. So then, we got them all recorded, demos, and I had found another guitar player, Max, and then the COVID thing was starting to see reports about it, but we weren't, there was no lockdown yet, so we went and recorded the whole album. Me and Jared went into Uberbeat Studios, and I engineered his drums, I mic'd him up, got it all patched up, and brought him back to my home studio after we recorded all of his drums, and I played guitar there with him live, and then we brought him back here, and Max, he knew the songs, but he wasn't going to get a chance to record on them because then we were all going to go into quarantine, and honestly, my girlfriend was not going to be having people over here. So I was on lockdown, and so I thought this thing will go for a month and whatever. Everyone will be let out. So I just recorded both sides of the guitars. I recorded the bass. I had borrowed a bass from my friend and got that all out there. And my plan was to search for a bass player in the meantime. But, the COVID thing went on for a while. So I recorded all this. I mixed it all here in my home studio. And then I sent it off for mastering and got it all back within like a month, because I just had nothing else to do, so I just pounded out all of it here. And then Awakening was made. That's it. That's it up until now. And it might change. The lineup might change. You never know. We're pretty new, but I'm the core members, me and Taylor and Jared. I don't think that'll ever stop. I think that as long as we're all still wanting to do this, we'll do whatever it takes to keep it going. So,
question number 2. What are your strides and drives during music creation? What sort of music do you like to portray, and what do you look for in good lyrics?
Strives and drives. When I write music, it is basically just taking how I feel, or anything that's been bothering me or causing me anxious feelings, or making me fucking feel terrible, or anything that's made me feel good, or if I have a really strong opinion about something, I'll write a song about that. So that is what drives me. It's a complete and total outlet. So, I mean, anything you hear, it might seem kind of cryptic sometimes, but there's a message in there. And I might be doing that on purpose too. I think that when I listen to music, that I like it when it's not spoon-fed. I like it when it is up to the listener to, take it and make it their own story. Because we all have so much in common as human beings that I know when I've listened to songs in the past and they didn't specifically say someone's name or something like that, I was able to very strongly relate to something. And somehow, when you listen to a song like that, it can sometimes make everything okay. I don't know how that works. I just don't really understand, but there's some real therapeutic value to music, whether it amps you up and gets you ready for something, or whether it calms you down during a time of stress, or whether it's to help you focus while you're working on something. I think that music, is so important in my life and lots of other people's lives. So I think I'm trying to just put it out there in not a vague way, but in a way that sort of doesn't say Stacy went down the street and she talked to Jeff and Jeff went in the 7-Eleven and whatever, like it's a story, but you have to kind of put the puzzle together. And I like it that way. So I think that answers that. I like lyrics that there's some meaning behind to the person who wrote them, but it's not completely obvious what's going on. I don't know. There's only been a few bands I've ever heard that got away with that. Like Rage Against the Machine is one where there's like 8 lyrics or something for some of those songs. That's a whole different thing. But
Question number 3 for progressive metal band Draemora from Seattle. Tell the listeners a bit about your fans. What type of people are they and how do they respond to the band?
Well, this band is extremely brand new, but we released our first single in the middle of May. It was called Home, and immediately we had no followers on Facebook, and I'm not going to fake anything. So if you see an amount of followers or something like that, or likes or views or something, I'm never going to pad that stuff. So I'm just going to let it grow organically. We're introducing this stuff to people, and we're just seeing how it goes. Nobody ever blows up right away. There's obviously an introduction period, and then you got to go pump it for that amount of time and get the word out. That's how it works. And so as far as our fans, I've had quite a few actual direct messages from people, and I did post a couple of them on Facebook, and really, really, really enthusiastic. Way more enthusiastic than Odyssean, way more enthusiastic than anything I've ever done, where people are like literally reaching out to me, telling me, they've listened to the song 10 times today. I made me tear up a little bit. I honestly have never, ever been in a band where people cared or like seemed to give a shit. It was always my friends and then other death metal bands and stuff, and then we would have fans, but it wasn't a very emotional contact. It was just like, whoa, you guys are fucking sick, man. Cool. And then that would be it. There was no like direct messaging or personal anything. This has been like, I don't know, I was talking to another guy, and, he was telling me how much he loved the guitar tone, and then someone else had mentioned something about a guitar tone, and then I had this idea where I just put it out there like, hey, if you want to cover these songs, I'm the one who mixed it, I'm the one who recorded it, I have all the tracks here. So I would give you guitarless tracks and stuff if you want to do it. So our fans have made covers of the songs of a band like us, which I thought was insane. I have covers of the songs. I have people reaching out to me. They're super enthusiastic. Every time we've posted on stuff, people are like, oh, I want to hear it more. I love this. So we're just so stoked about that. I think we all feel like Home, that song, is a good song. and it was a good way to introduce people to us. But I, in no way, shape, or form, do I think that's the strongest song, in my opinion, on the album. So I think that once the rest of the songs come out, it's going to be really cool for our fans to, really get to sink their teeth into the band, because it's not just like exactly the same material over and over again. What we have is, it's very intense, and it's pretty cool, man. So I can't wait to see what everyone thinks about the rest of the material. As far as the other part of the fans is, if you are a fan and you want to put comments or tag us and stuff, we love that. We love being tagged and stuff. We love getting commented on. We love the attention. So you're not going to embarrass us. Don't feel embarrassed to do it.
Silvermyth In The Dark podcast is now going to stream up a track by Draemora. The name of the song is Reckoning. Stay tuned in. Question number 4. What has the band been up to lately in forms of gigs, music creation, as well as band members' spare time?
So as far as that's all concerned, there is no gigs. There is no such a thing. There is live streams, and those are really being reserved for people who have a large amount of music. We have, we have 5 songs off the EP, and I have already written more songs, like 2 other songs. So we probably have 35 to 40 minutes of material or something. And I guess we just don't feel like that's a good way to introduce ourselves to our fans. We'd like to play a real show. So I've already talked to all the bookers here in Seattle, and they all seem extremely stoked about Draemora. They've heard it, and I mean, I've dealt with bookers before. I don't remember getting such a positive response. One booker in particular here in Seattle was just like jaw dropped when I showed her what we had. So I was extremely happy about that. So, get ready for us to be on some really cool shows. I can already tell that with the way the fans are reacting to it and the way the booking agents and stuff are reacting to this, I think that this band is going to be something really special. So the gigs will come. As far as the music creation goes, I think I already said that. We're working on a full length to follow up. We don't know if it's going to be EP or a full length actually, but I already have 2 songs. I have 2 more ideas that need to be fleshed out, and that's of right now. I'm a pretty fast worker, man. I have a lot of material, always coming out of me. So I do the majority of the writing, if not 100% of the writing of everything and arranging all the parts. So I can work pretty fast if I sit down and just start writing stuff. So I might have a whole album ready to go before you know it, and so hopefully I do. I'm feeling pretty good about that. As far as the other guys, there was an interview we just did that explains what they were up to. They're kind of goofballs. I think one of them said getting drunk and masturbating or something. So I'll leave that up to them to talk about.
Next question for Draemora from Seattle, US of A. Which of your songs are your favorite and why?
Well, at the time of doing this, we only have the 1 song out. But here just shortly there will be 1 more song out. And the names of the songs are out and everything, so I can at least say what song I like the most off of the EP. Oh, excuse me. My favorite song to perform off of the EP is Legion of Scum. It is the funnest song to play. It's just brutal. It reminds me of like older Lamb of God before the kind of verse, chorus, verse type thing that they do now. The more formulaic stuff. Nothing wrong with what they're doing. It's just kind of, kind of painting a picture. It just kind of reminds me more of like Ashes of the Wake or As the Palaces Burn, Lamb of God. Not on purpose, just the riff just kind of sounded like that once all the pieces fell together. So I love that. It just sounds so cool, and the writing fell together so cool, and the lyrics, Taylor just slays on it. So I love that song. As far as listening, I think Guilt is my favorite song. If I'm going to listen to one of the songs on the album, which, man, after you do all this, I tell you don't really want to hear him anymore. But, Guilt. I think that's the most enjoyable one to listen to. I just love the lyrics. It was a very personal song for me to write, and I sing a lot on it. So, I think it's cool that, actually got the balls enough to sing on something. So, it feels cool to listen to that. It was a goal of mine to sing on an album, so there you go.
The podcast is now going to stream up Draemora and the track Legion of Scum. Stay tuned in, don't miss out. What other bands do you enjoy, and if you had to choose a favorite artist plus song, who and what tune would you choose?
What other bands do I enjoy? I would say some of my favorite bands to listen to. I don't know if we're talking about, just in, metal in general, but I love Revocation. I love Dave Davidson's playing, and I love that, people are digging it. I think that it's really cool that he can play big clubs and stuff and just shred and do, gutturals, and they can have fast drums and blast beats, and people still are showing up to see that. I think he's really just a great composer, and he seems to have a really solid, knowledge of chords. And if you can put that together with someone who loves death metal like he does and loves gore guts like he does, you can have this like sad, fast thing that just is crazy to listen to. I love Revocation so much. I think they're amazing. I really like the last Periphery album, aside from a couple of the songs. I think one of them was like a lot of electronic instruments in there, but I really think that they brought it hard with Reptile, Church Burner. I think there was a couple other ones on there that were just cool songs, and I really like their writing. I really like that band a lot. I think they're cool guys, and I like that they are like a light of hope for all of us who play metal, that there's a chance that we could have a career doing this. I think that someone's got to keep doing that, just like with the Revocation thing. I think, they're a really hated band. I think Periphery, there's certainly a lot of hate for them, but I think that comes with the territory. You can't be as fucking awesome as they are and not be fucking universally hated by all these, elitist people. As soon as you do something that makes money, people are gonna fucking hate you. So I don't, not me though. I think they're amazing, and I think they're doing great work. I hope they don't stop. I hope they stay together forever. I love that band. As far as other new music, I think everyone should go listen to Not, N-O-T-T. It's a local band here from Seattle. Their latest album is The Wretched Sounds, and it is, think of like Acacia Strain or something like that, it's like newer Acacia Strain, but even better. It's got its own thing going on, and they just got a new drummer, and they're going to go on tour right after this. But yeah, check them out. Love that band. What was the other thing in there? Who is my favorite artist? That's impossible. I mean, are we talking like when I was 15, when I was 20, when I was, what timeline are we talking about here? When I was 5 years old? Because it was Led Zeppelin, then it was fucking Metallica, then I loved Megadeth, then I loved Slayer, then I loved Cannibal Corpse, then someone gave me a Slipknot CD, then I started diving into Lamb of God, and then even further, like I got really into melodic death. I got into Soilwork and In Flames and Gothenburg. I got into Alexi Laiho, and I got into all that sort of stuff. And then I was really into the mid 2000s deathcore. I love Whitechapel. So I've just favorite band. I don't know, man. As time has gone on, I don't keep listening to the same stuff. I just kind of like, I don't know, not on purpose or anything, but I'm always moving forward, man. I'm always looking for new music that is just fucking knocking it out of the park and doing cool shit. And there's so many cool bands out right now. There's no way you could fucking say, "Oh, this is the one," or something like that. There's a lot of great stuff out there.
What are the band's plans for the future, speaking of music releases and concerts?
We are hoping after this releases that we're going to be able to release another EP or another full length, and it's already, a lot of it's written, and I'm writing more every day. And I've got a lot of stuff to write about, plenty of lyrical content up in the old noggin, and it's dying to come out. So I'm full of creativity right now, and I'm gonna write the next album. I'm gonna get it done, man. And I don't think it'll be about. I think the lyrical content seems to be for this next one. At least all the scribbles I have are about. I wouldn't say political things, but more sociological type things and shit that's been pissing me off. Less about mental health and drug abuse, like Awakening. Awakening is basically my recovery from drugs and alcohol is what that whole album is about. I'm not dealing with that anymore, although recovery is honestly like forever. I fucking can never drink or do drugs because I'll just end up in fucking jails, and I'll be gone. I won't be doing this. So, but I always have that CD, I always have that recording. And I love that it's like it's like something that always be there now, and really cool to get that out. And this next thing is just the same thing. It's just going to be a picture of what I feel like right now when I'm writing it. So hopefully it connects like this last one did. And as far as concerts goes, we want to tour. We want to get out there. I know that some people will tell you that touring is not the way to go. I think for progressive metal and death metal, I think people still like fucking concerts. And I think that just because we're shut down right now doesn't mean it's not going to come back. And I want to get out there and slay. I think that that's an excellent way to spread the word. It's an excellent way to get in front of people. I love people. I want to shake hands. I want to talk to you guys. I want to, talk about your favorite bands. I want to hang out, man. I want to be a part of the scene. I want to be a part of people's lives. This is all I've ever wanted to do my whole entire life. I don't have anything else. I don't have any other fucking hobbies or anything, man. I fucking play music. I eat music. I dream about music. I fucking drive the car. Sometimes I turn off the radio and I start humming new songs. I want to play music. I want to talk about music. I want to be doing music all the time. So my band is the same way. We all want to get out there. We want to tour. We want to take this band to the absolute heights. I think with the way it sounds, and everyone else in the band also feels that it sounds like something that could be on a big ass fucking stage. It's powerful. It's cool sounding. It's reminiscent of other bands that have done that, and it was not a contrived or disingenuous effort. It was completely genuine, and I think that that's why it connects well. So hopefully that's the way it goes.
The podcast wishes to thank Draemora for taking their time to answer my interview questions. If you have anything to add, Draemora, feel free to do so here.
Not at all. I have one thing to add. That is, go check out our single home. It is on the YouTube channel, The Circle Pit. If you can't find it there, you can go to our website, which is Draemora.com. That's Draemora.com. The video is linked in there. There's another video, I think, of a cover in there, but they'll keep changing. We're keeping that Circle Pit one up there. And there should be a new single coming out soon. I'm just saying, because the album release is June 26th. And you can pre-order it on Google Play and Apple Music. So, go to our website, check out that Circle Pit video. There's a bunch of merchandise there. We got a bunch of kick-ass shirts. We got the baseball tee. We got the ladies tank top. We got hoodies. We got stickers. We got everything there. And like I said, if you like something we did, tell us. My name is Terrence Jenkins on Facebook, and it is also Terrence Jenkins on Instagram. Hit me up. Talk to me. Message me. Let's fucking chat, man. All right. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for allowing me to do this podcast. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
It's now time to stream up another Draemora track. Stay tuned in for the song Home from their latest EP. Alrighty, that wraps up Silvermyth in the Dark, Metal Punk and Radio Talk with DJ Silvermyth, episode number 42. DJ Silvermyth thanks one and all for listening. Stay cool, stay tanned. See you next time around. Tata, shoo shoo, bye bye.